Hi friends, we're on the road again. Bum, 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 on the road again. Heading back to Ohio. Going currently 9 miles per hour in a 45. It's okay. I'm fine. I had to talk to you to get through it. I don't know what's going on. I should have put Waze. Well, I don't know if Waze would have even gotten this because I don't know. Well, it looks like maybe this is where they're ending. Oh, please turn off the road. There's two oversized trucks with support trucks around them and a police car leading them, I think, right to this spot right here, because we're going 5 miles an hour right now. Oh, big orange sign, bump. It's not going to affect me. I'm only going 4 miles per hour. Looks like some cars are digging here, so maybe it is the weirdest thing. So I'm going along the road. It was 55 for a while, and then we kind of got to the town and it was 45. I'm only a handful of miles away from, nope, they didn't get off here. Shoot. This is just other construction going on. Okay, it's okay. We're all okay. So we're going along and we're clipping along just fine, and then we get into this town and I'm stuck at this light for a very long time. And I thought, shoot, I should have put my navigation on. I know from my home, this one street takes me all the way to 65, up at an angle, cuts off a whole bunch of stuff. Now, I don't always get off this way, and maybe I should have my navigation on in the morning. I think I always do have my navigation on, and it just takes me this way. This road just takes you all the way to 65. Well, when you get behind trucks that are not moving, you're not going 55 miles an hour, or even 45 as it turned to in that town, but less than that. Okay, look, we're starting to move now. We're going between 35 and 45. I just needed to talk to you. There you go. And it all got better. Life got better. I still don't know what's going on up there. I think that those trucks are just finally figuring out that they can go a little faster. It was the weirdest thing because it's some big, it doesn't look like a house. It just looks like a big container that's on the back of a flatbed that is very tall, big, and wide. But then there's two of them, and they're like double trailers as well. Like, it's very confusing. And I'm about 15 cars back, so I can't really see what's going on. But I'm like, oh, they must have just turned onto the freeway here, because all of a sudden they were in the wrong lane, like the lane that was for oncoming traffic. So I was like, okay, whatever. Yeah, we're moving now. We're moving now that we're gonna get on the freeway, now that it's 2 lanes. But anyway, they would be in that lane over there. So I'm like, oh, they must have just turned off or something. But then they kept doing that. Like, one of them, it's almost like they were like letting each other pass each other on the road, which doesn't make any sense. There's no reason to do that. I mean, to my knowledge. So now it's double lanes, and oh, now they decided they're going to take both lanes. Okay. And we're going to go back down. 30, 27, 25, 21, 18. We're kind of on the road again. Not really moving, but on the road again. It doesn't matter if they get on the freeway or not. I'll be able to get around them because the freeway has 3 lanes, not 2. So even if they decide to take up 2 lanes, it's not that wide. They don't really need to be taking 2 lanes. They have the big oversized truck. Like, I feel like they need to make use of the fact they applied for the oversized truck sign.
Let's take I-65 north.
I don't see I-65 north. Where is it? I see all kinds of signs right here at this intersection for all kinds of roads, but not the one I want. Did that say it was 31? Is that 31?
In a quarter of a mile, use the right lane to turn right to I-65 north toward Louisville.
It's up ahead. That's why I didn't see it. Listen, I'm having an issue with my heating and cooling in my car. I don't want to take it in. I just... Especially because it's happened with me all the time. My husband almost never puts on the...
Turn right to I-65 north toward Louisville.
Oh. I think I just got beeped at by an oversized load truck. I did. Well, they weren't in the turning lane, they were in the straight lane, and so I went into the turning lane to turn right. And I guess I was supposed to know that the truck up ahead was going to cut over. You oversized load trucks are doing a really bad job, I'm telling you. You should be in the far right lane. That's a turning lane. If you know your truck ahead of you is going to turn into that lane and not just ride behind them. Do I have to be in charge of everything? Is it really necessary for me to solve everyone's problems? I mean, come on, truckers, get it together. And you're not even the trucker, you're the support vehicle. You should know how to block the lanes for different cars. Here we go. I'm gonna pass you up. You're not gonna like it, but
Continue straight
I'll
for
do it
37.6 miles to
anyway.
exit 38. Kentucky 101 towards Smith's Grove.
Are they really gonna get off? Is that truck gonna get off at the rest area after all that? He better not. He's not. Okay. I'm like, you made us do all that and you're getting off at the rest stop? No, he's still going. Okay, I feel better. Going 75 into 70. And breathe. All is well. We're moving along. Oh my gosh, it's already 9:43 in the morning. I haven't even gotten to Buckee's yet. Buckee's only an hour out. That took a long time. Oh my gosh. I should be at Buckee's right now. I saw 36 miles to go. Well, like in the next 5 to 10 minutes. The next 5 minutes I should be at Buckee's. But I'm not going to be. That's okay. Listen, it's okay, right? It's okay. Alright, what were we talking about? The stupid trucks that just kept passing each other on the road and blocking traffic from both directions. That made no sense. I have no idea what that was about, what's happening. Here's another oversized load. Oh, you're getting in my lane? No, you're not. I'm going around you. Look at that. Booyah! Another oversized load. There's so many oversized loads. I didn't even tell you about the ones that I passed before I got to that one. There was a big truck and an oversized load. It was just a truck. It was a big truck, but it was a truck. It wasn't oversized. Oh my God, come to Ohio, I'll show you an oversized load. It literally takes up 2 lanes. Sorry. I let it get the best of me. We're back. We're back. All is fine. So yeah, so that right as I got on, 109 is kind of the major freeway that you take to get to 65. Right when I got on 109, there was a big truck. And I thought it was interesting because all of a sudden, he had what I would call, actually I take it back. He did have an oversized load. He's the only one that's had an oversized load. I forgot what it looked like because there were a couple of trucks. The one truck was normal. It had these big pipes that were kind of coming out to the side that were covered in white plastic. So they looked like they were probably part of, building construction of some major plant of some sort. They were massive. And there were like 8 of them that were sticking out sideways. So they must have been connected to something as opposed to being upright. Or maybe they wouldn't fit under the bridge if they were upright. Why didn't they just lay them down? I don't know. Maybe it was part of a nuclear reactor or something. You can't lay it down sideways. Okay, look at this equipment over here. What the heck? I think I got on the road just at the wrong time. It was my fault for talking too long. I wanted to be on the road. Well, I wanted to be on the road at 8, but my son-in-law wasn't back with the donuts yet, so I didn't get a chance to say goodbye to him. So I didn't get on the road at 8. I got on the road at 9. Took an extra hour talking with them, but you know, I don't regret that 1 second. Nope. Even if I'm exhausted and tired when I get home, I gotta get up early because I'm serving at church tomorrow. I'm on the welcome team. Somebody said to me once, what food do you serve? I don't know. I'm not serving. I get. We just call it serving. You're serving the church by working in the Sunday school or in the coffee shop or greeting people. Welcome team. That's what it's called. That's what I am. I'm a welcome team person. And I like it. It's easy. There's security team, all kinds of options for serving, and a whole bunch more. I don't even know what they all are. Just find one you like and then do it. Okay. So, I got on the road late. So it's my fault. I would have gotten on the road 1 minute earlier. I would have missed all of this that I went through. So, there you go. And the trade-off was worth it. So, moving on. Putting a lid on that subject. I'm not going to talk about that anymore. Oh, it feels good to go 70. 75 in a 70. Alright, so now I'm going to have to keep I have actually Buckee's in my navigation. So, we're good. Still half an hour to get there. Wow, that took a half an hour. Sorry. That set me back. Okay. It's alright. It's alright. Alright, let's talk about something else. I'm not going to focus on this anymore. It felt good to leave the place and have my daughter and my son-in-law being there because I just think it's cute that they kind of have like their little time away now. It makes me happy that the place is going to be a place of respite for family members, that they can go down and they can visit with my daughter and they can see Callahan and have a place to stay that's relaxing. My son-in-law started taking up rollerblading. So funny. He is into fitness. He's a physical therapist. That makes sense. I mean, I never thought of him as somebody who was into fitness, but lately it's the first time I've like noticed like he's into fitness, like he's into like building muscle now, which he wasn't before. But I mean, you know, he was a college student when I first met him, so a lot of pizza and whatnot, dining hall food, because he was an RA like my daughter was, partly how they met, a resident advisor for the floor. I notice I'm kind of crooked. I hope that doesn't annoy you. And you know what? Next time I come back, I'm going to see if I can make it go sideways the other way so it fits on your screen better. Because I know a lot of people say, why is it vertical? I want it to be horizontal. I'm like, well, that's the way it was recorded. But this is the way the holder holds it. But I bet I can twist it and get the holder to hold it horizontally. So I'm going to do that for you when I hit Buckee's. Maybe after Buckee's, the next update will be horizontal. Alright, so he's into fitness now and he works out a lot and that. And it works out well for them because my daughter is like me, where if you don't get at least 9 hours of sleep, you're exhausted. But you prefer 10. And he sleeps like 6 hours at night. So he's like, I just have a lot of time where I'm just by myself because Gracie's asleep. And that's when he started working out in the mornings, I believe. So anyway, he's trying different activities and different things. And he took up rollerblading. So he's like, I'm getting better at it. He's like, I've only done it for a short time, but I'm getting better at it. So he found a bike path in Gallatin, Tennessee, that he said is amazing. He's like, this was like one of the best parks I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah. He goes, Gallatin has a lot of money. And I'm like, it does? Actually, I know it does because I've done a lot of thrifting in Gallatin and I have been to some amazing homes. Let's call them estates. But there's also like, you know, just like getting here and there and about Gallatin, most of it is just, you know, your everyday ranches and homes that people are buying up and kind of flipping into really cute homes just because real estate's so expensive. But it's going to be cheaper in Gallatin than it's going to be closer to the city because we are, well, 40, I say we're 40 minutes away. That's the average. If you go at 3 o'clock in the morning, you can get downtown in 35 minutes. During rush hour, it's going to take you over an hour. So, average it out. 40 minutes to get downtown. So, he said this park, he said it had all kinds of walking paths, and then he goes tons of trails too that you could go off on, which I love, you know, if you want something more rural. He said that along the way when you're on the bike and walk paths, there would be little signs for kids that would be saying something like, this tree usually grows to be this tall, and that's as tall as a giraffe. Does giraffes make a sound? What sound does a giraffe make? I don't know, something along that line. Anyway, there'd be these cute little signs to entertain children along the path as you're going to. I'm like, oh, that's so cute. I love it. I can't wait to take Callahan when he gets older and go through that. He's like, and it's just so well manicured, and it's just like, he's like, it's so nice. He goes, and then I came upon all these fields, and he goes, there's so many of them, and they look great. And he's like, I think there were softball fields and soccer fields and baseball fields, and it's in a massive park. And I said, that's cool. I'm so excited. He said, yeah. And then there was one other thing he said that was on the path that was really cool. I can't remember what it was. But anyway, I felt happy to know that he thought it was one of the best park walking path and trails that he's ever seen in his life, because he does go on a decent amount of them. So he went again today, and he said that it was packed when you got to the park area part of it, because all the soccer games and baseball games and everything were going on. He said that it was a gazillion people there at the fields. He goes, but there were probably still 5 more fields that were open. He goes, it's just incredible. And he said, based on the make and model of all the cars in the parking lot, I'm assuming Gallatin has a lot of money. And so maybe it could have been the visiting teams too. So if they're playing somebody, it is a Saturday. But nevertheless, he's like, no, listen. He said, right before I was done, and he fell. He goes, it's the first time I've ever felt rollerblading. And he's like, I was like, okay. He was like, like tumbled, fell. He goes, I like felt everything and thought, I'm okay. Nothing's broken. I can keep going. And he said, my elbow pads, my knee pads, he goes, they worked. They did the job. So I'm not all scraped up either. Like the pads are pretty scraped up. He said, but I'm none worse for the wear. But he said I was exhausted then, and then I got lost because I got off the trail and I went on something else, and then it was more of a rougher asphalt, so it was more effortful, and he goes, somehow I felt like I went uphill the whole time. It's like your parents telling you, I walked to school 5 miles in all weather, uphill both ways. He's like, because I ended up going a different way, somehow I had to have gotten elevated, but then I ended up on this different path thinking, oh, I can't wait till it's at the end because I'm going to be going downhill, but because I was on a different trail and a different path, it was uphill too, so I don't know. Anyway, so we ended up in this one spot, and then he noticed this guy who was doing ab work, like crunches, sit-ups kind of stuff on this one piece of equipment right before he left out of the corner of his eye. And he goes, I looked over and saw there's this whole area of workout equipment to do weight training. But the weight training is all, he goes, it all uses your own body weight as your resistance. So for these crunches, you pull on this thing to do a crunch and your own body lifts up. And so you're pulling your own body. I don't know. I couldn't understand it all. He said that it was amazing and really cool, and he was so impressed by it. And it was right next to a park that was full of equipment for handicapped kids. So there was a handicapped playground there. And he said that back in Findlay, Ohio, where he went to college, he goes, we had one there too, in that city, a handicapped playground. And he said that it was fairly new when he was there and they put it in. He goes, it was really nice. He said it was amazing. All the adaptive stuff for people who were in wheelchairs or people who didn't have arm strength or people who didn't have leg strength, and just a lot of really cool things there. And he said that was the nicest one I had ever seen until I saw this one in Gallatin. And he goes, this was better than that. I'm like, that's amazing. So he found a little diamond in the rough that next time I go, I'm going to have to go. I think it was like a 10-minute drive from my home, he said. Who knew? Go Gallatin. Whoop, whoop. 19 more miles. Not to Gallatin, to Buckee's. I have a half a tank of gas, so I'm going to top off at Buckee's. And then maybe buy like a breakfast burrito. Usually I'm not hungry in the morning, but I think I am hungry this time because I have a donut sitting next to me and I can smell the sugar of it. And there's nothing in me that really wants to eat. I mean, there's part of me that wants. My mouth wants to eat it right now, but my stomach really doesn't. And just my overall, like, I don't want to start off with like a sugar rush first thing on the road trip. Protein is the way to go. I do have a can of peanuts sitting here as well, so there's that. I could start off with that protein, but why start off with peanuts when you can start off with a breakfast burrito made fresh? All right. So I'm not going to get anything in the refrigerated section. I'm going to get some of their stuff they make on the grill right in the middle of the restaurant, or the middle of the gas station. Store? It's a store. It's a store and more. I don't even know how to explain it. Listen, I did do a little walkthrough of Buckee's once. And I don't think I ever posted it. So I'm going to try to find it. I'm going to try to catch up and find all the videos that I have made and not posted, which are just individual, like, I don't even think any of them are thrifting. Maybe there's one thrifting one, and then there's some home improvement stuff I did. But I do remember doing some recording in Buckee's, and I don't think I ever posted it. Did I? Let me know down below. That'll save me from having to look. It was me walking through the store and seeing, maybe I did, seeing the Buckee costume and seeing the Buckee sweatshirts and looking at the price of the Buckee sweatshirts. It would have been a while ago, kind of near the beginning when I started doing this vlog. So I think it was on my first trip down here after when I took ownership of the townhome. Shoot, I hate when I am not in the know. There's a massive American flag and it's being flown at half-mast. What happened? Who died? I'm not up on it. I haven't been paying attention to any news the whole time I've been down here. Shoot. This makes me sad when I see that. Well, there's another American flag. It's about half the size of the other one, which is still 10 times the size of any other normal American flag. That one's not at half-mast. Hopefully the half-mast one just never got it back up again and everything. Nothing recently just happened. Alright. Texas Roadhouse. Good food, excellent beef tips. Highly recommend. Alright, now I'm chilly. So here's the problem with the car that I was telling you about. first turn it on, like in the winter time, when I first turn it on, sometimes the heat won't work. In order to get the heat to work, I have to put it on high, on the highest temperature of heat, and blowing high. Then it triggers something and the heat goes. And then I can bring it back down after it like clicks on. But I tested it when I was driving home once at night, and it was very cold outside, and I started the car, and I was going a little bit, and I had the heat on, not like blasting on high, but it was up there. Like it was probably 40 degrees outside, and I had it set to like 75 or something. Cold air blowing out the entire time, and I'm like, I'm gonna see how long it takes to trip whatever and get going, because I know I have like a good 15 minutes of driving home. How many minutes is this gonna take? Because you know, normally when you get in the car and you start it, it takes a minute or two anyway for the engine to get going, for things to warm up before the heat kicks on. I believe at this time I was sitting in my car for a minute or two anyway. I think that's why I was like, why is it already not warming up? Because I've been in here and it's been running. And then I thought, well, maybe because it is a hybrid, maybe it literally has to get going to trigger that. 15 minutes. I got all the way home in my garage, cold air blowing out, and it wasn't that cold outside. There was no reason for it. So then I turned it off, because I was turning it off and on and it wasn't making a difference. I turned it all the way on high, and then it triggered it, and then I brought it back again. Well, this is the first time this happened with the air conditioning. I got in, I was just driving normally for about 10 minutes, and then I'm like, it's starting to warm up in here. I mean, it's 80 degrees outside, but it was only in the 70s at the time. It felt fine in here. I'm like, oh, it's getting a little stuffy, I'm gonna put the air on. So I put the air on to 66. At the time it was like 76 outside, and I put it on to 66. I don't know what the internal temperature was, because I don't have a gauge, sadly. I like it when the cars tell you, this is the temperature outside and this is what your temperature is inside your car. This one doesn't do that. All I have is the temperature that I'm setting it at, that I want it to go to. Okay, so right when it started blowing, it was blowing hot air. And I thought, it's not that hot outside. It's like 76, and with the breeze, you know, like in the 76 is not that hot, that it's blowing hot air. Like it was blowing hot air. I'm like, all right, well, the car, you know, is sitting in the sun while I was loading it up. Maybe it's going to take a minute or two. No, I waited 5 minutes, still blowing hot air. And it said the air conditioner was on. I'm like, no, this isn't right. 66 should not be hot air. So I turned the temperature all the way down to low, and then I could feel the air start to cool instantly, and I turned it back up, and it was on 66, and I was just freezing right now. So I put it up to 74. So there's a trigger thing that doesn't always trigger. Now, if that's just the way this car is for the rest of my life, fine. I just put it all the way down, or I put it all the way up, and then it works. But I don't know if it's going to get worse, and then eventually the heat and the air is not going to work. So I'm going to have to take it in, because I think it's still under the 3-year warranty. I think this July, we're coming up on it. I think I bought it in July. June or July, but I think it was July. Well, now it feels quite warm for being 74. Put it at 70. That's better. Holy tamales. Nothing like being stuck going 62 and a 70. Alright, now we can get over. Why so slow, people? That's right, Georgia. Let's get going. Got a Georgia plate in front of me. People from out of state, we're all like, we've got places, we have long drives. locals that are like, I'm just going to the store, that are not in a hurry. The rest of us are like, I got 8 hours ahead of me. Let's not go too slow. Now I have 8.5 hours. Not all ahead of me, but the trip turned into an 8.5 hour trip. And that's not counting my stop at Buckee's or the next stop. I'm back. Gas at Buckee's. The Buckster, as I like to call them. $3.74. Not bad, but it got down during the week, and I didn't really need it because I already, like I say, I had a half a tank of gas and I haven't filled it up since the last time. I saw it for as low as $3.65 right by me on the corner of my street. But then that same day it was $3.69 when I came back. So it was on my way to my daughter's house one morning. And on the way back it was $3.69. It never got down that low again. So maybe the day before I wasn't paying attention, or maybe it just dipped that day for some reason. I don't know. So I'm happy with it, because as I was going home, I didn't drive that way, so I didn't see what it was this morning. But everything was like 401, 4 something as I was driving home. Now it might normally be higher in those different gas stations, I'm not sure, so I'm not going to complain about, what did I say it was, 379, not bad. Okay, I'm going in now. I don't know what I was saying before, but it abruptly stopped because my phone overheated. When I'm charging it and I'm recording, it overheats. This is something new. I don't think it's a phone problem. I think it's because it's actually not an official Apple charging cord. I probably need to get another one. It's better. For some reason though, here's the thing. The USB one, if I get the USB cord that goes into the car, put it in that port, and then I connect it to my phone, Apple CarPlay works. So everything goes up on the screen. I can see the map. I can do things on the screen. Like I can, on my screen, call somebody. Well, usually on Siri, I can just say call the person. But like for navigation, I the text messages will read to me. In navigation, I can click on it and scroll through where I want to go. Like I don't have to do it on my phone. I can do it on the screen because it's Apple CarPlay. But if I have my charger that goes to the phone and goes to the USB-C, the small one that's like the same one that's in the phone, like the same one at the other end, if I go into that input, Apple CarPlay doesn't work. Riddle me that. Maybe it never does. Maybe it always has to be a USB end. I don't know. Is it that the Apple CarPlay is broken? Is that another thing I should have them look at when I take this into the Kia dealership? Which is a story I think you heard. Again, I don't know when it went off. I just happened to look over at the side and the whole thing was black and it says overheating, restart at another time. I'm like, all right, well, we were just talking to ourselves, but that's okay. All right, I can't waste any more time. I can talk to you while I'm driving, but I need to get going now to get back on the road. I'll be back later after I grab some breakfast, go to the bathroom, and eat it. Bye, friends. I'm in the Buckee's bathroom. All right. I feel like it's inappropriate because we're in a bathroom even after I get outside of here to show you walking in and all that, but take a look around here. Okay. So here's the door to get in. Everybody has their own room, if you will. Look how high. I mean, those are like 12-foot ceilings, maybe taller. Let's see. Look, they're about 12-foot ceilings. Crazy. A hook, which not every bathroom has anymore. But it's just, you have your own room. Look at, all the way up. There's no, and all the way down. There's no opening. You don't hear the people next to you. And you have your own hand sanitizer too. I usually use this, and then I also wash my hands out there. But now I don't freak out when I notice people coming out and they just don't wash their hands. A lot of people don't go to the hand washing station. I kind of like. Sorry, I walked in front of the sensor. I kind of like the idea that people inside the bathroom use the hand sanitizer before they touch the handle. Just me. I don't know what this is. Oh. Clean the seat, dry foam toilet seat, and handle cleaner. So I guess you get toilet paper and then you put this foam on it and clean your seat and the hand, well, there's no handle because it's auto flush. But, oh, it's to sanitize the seat before you sit down. That's kind of nice. I usually just take toilet paper and wipe it, but. All right, we're not gonna go through the whole bathroom process now, but I just wanted you to see because I've always said at one point I'm gonna show you, and look how big. Like, okay, I'm against the wall. Look how far away. It's like another foot. My arm is completely extended and there's like another 1.5 to 2 feet to the other side of the room. It's big. Okay. I'm a dork. Bye. I'm back. We have a quick update before we get on the road. We got a brisket egg taco. I have high hopes for this. More than I did for that other chicken avocado, which, by the way, I finished that chicken avocado ramp. I don't remember one bite of avocado in it. So I have to say I am disappointed in, I'm trying to reach, I have some iced teas. I was talking to you guys about that once, wasn't I? I'm pretty sure I was. That, a bag of food and drinks. First of all, oh, this smells good. I'm gonna eat this when I get home. I have a leftover breaded chicken clubs sandwich with fries from a restaurant called Double Dogs that we went to. That was my mother's treat from my daughter and my son-in-law. I was saying the other day that I could not find the sweet tea. I thought I'd had sweet tea that was sweetened artificially. I even hate saying the word because I know you're not supposed to have it, but I just don't like drinking my calories. Sweet tea with 0 sugar. But Gold Peak makes it. So the other brand, I can't think of the name of the other brand right now. It's the main one that you see more often. Anyway, I couldn't find it. Gold Peak. And it's good. It's good. So I'm going to put that there for a little treat for myself. I'm going to put this here. I got my donut. I got my brisket breakfast sandwich. Oh, I want to have a little chips if you want to go with it. Okay, we are set for a road trip. It could last me all the way home, but I don't think my gas tank will last me all the way home. So that's all she wrote. Okay, we're on the road again. All right. I'm not going to talk to you for a bit. I'm going to eat and I'm going to call my girlfriend who called me while I was at my daughter's house the other day, the one that I tried calling on the way down. And it was not a good day. She called. She was really sweet and she was in a good mood and that made me happy for her. But she, turned on the radio after my phone died, but I'll probably listen to a podcast on my phone. I'm gonna go this way. I don't know if you're supposed to go this way, but I feel like I know at the other end there's a arrow. It's hard to say. There is a way to get out this way. It's just they don't have an arrow saying you can go this way too. They only say 64 is that way, which means you have to go all the way down past the 50. Well, I think there's 100 gas pumps. Past 100 gas pumps. Oh, really? You're gonna stop right there? That is okay. Seriously, some people are just unaware. There's a guy in a pickup truck pulling a huge, large flatbed thing at the end, and he turned into the very first gas pump, right where the corner where everyone's trying to turn. And I need to turn around him to go the other way, and now we're all like trying to get by because he won't go down. There's plenty of gas pumps. In fact, I did go all the way to the end and turned around so I could start finding them with the nozzle on my side. Let me make sure that this radio is off. Because unfortunately, unlike Costco, they do not have the large hoses that will reach around your car to the other side. So you have to go on the side of the pump that your gas tank is. And I went down, and the first 50 all had cars at them, so I went around. Now, I do have to look into no ethanol, I think it is. They have a lot of pumps at the end that say no ethanol, and I swear I looked it up and it's fine. It's actually like better for the environment. Like nothing was bad about it for your car, but I just want to like really research and make sure I don't put something in my gas tank that's going to screw up a hybrid engine. I'm like, yeah, maybe because I'm a hybrid I shouldn't, but nobody uses the no ethanol. Like there's campers down there and some of those other larger vehicles, but it's also way down at the end. But I always bypassed it because they have like blue labels all over the posts and the signs and the thing that says no ethanol gas, no ethanol gas. And I'm like, do I want ethanol? When I was quickly Googling it, it made it seem like there's nothing great about ethanol. It's great to have no ethanol. I don't know. Or maybe it's just great for the environment, but it's not great for your car. You know, I mean, maybe I ended up on a tree hugger site that's like, yes, everybody should have no ethanol. Your car will only last you for 7 years because it's going to ruin your engine, but it's better for the environment. And so that's the trade-off some people are willing to do, and you do you, boo. I have nothing against it. I'd rather my car last me a good 15, 20 years. We buy them new and rerun them into the ground. That's what my husband and I do. I'd prefer, well, not always new. I prefer to do what I did with the Lexus, which is buy it 3 years old, which is pretty much right when it came off the warranty, with almost no miles on it, like in great shape, and then run that into the ground, which is what we're doing with that car. So this one's newer. It's only 3 years old. I got a lot of years on it. But as you know, I still like to drive the Lexus, even though it doesn't have half the bells and whistles. And I do miss some of the luxuries that are in this when I'm in that car. The heated steering wheel, #1, in the wintertime for sure. All right. So when I was in Buckee's, I took a video inside the stall. I'll insert it here. I got inside the stall and it was so busy. It's a Saturday, obviously. Saturday at Buckee's. What was I thinking? But I was able to find a gas. I mean, I've driven home before and I couldn't find a pump. I had to go around a second time to get a pump to pump up my gas at. I guess I did have to go to the other side, so there's that. All right, let me get back into the middle lane. So I kind of showed you all around for people who haven't been to a Buckee's, to show you how you get your own stall in that. And then I'm like, I can't take a picture of what the whole bathroom area looks like, even though it's nice. But I will explain it to you. I took a still shot. Nobody was around at the time, and I'm like, sadly my sound was on my phone too, so I was like, I'm like, oh, Jenny, why didn't you turn your sound off? You could have taken pictures. They would have just thought you're looking at your phone. So when you walk in, it's like think of it as just like a big cavernous square room, and in the center are rows of sinks like facing each other, but there's like a wall in between. I don't remember what's in between. Yeah, probably mirrors. A wall that has mirrors on it. So you could be on either side, and then all along the exterior 4 walls are bathrooms. Okay? And then the bathrooms, as I mentioned before, but in case you didn't see the other video, the walls go from ceiling to floor. There's no opening at the top, there's no opening at the bottom. If the person next to you is taking the worst, nastiest dump in the world, you're not smelling it. You're in your own little room. It's tiled. It's not the bathroom metal doors. And you have your own door, and on the outside of the door, so when you go in and you lock it, it'll say occupied in red. On the little handle that you know, when you flip it, it says occupied, and when you open it, it'll say open, and it'll be green. But also, that lock triggers a light above your bathroom. So not only do you have the little half circle that says occupied in red, but there's a light above that is anchored above the door on the wall above your room, your literal bathroom that you get, that will be red. So you can walk in and just look at all the lights around. So I'm going to insert a picture for those who don't see. Best bathrooms in the land. I challenge you to find any gas station bathroom. I mean, even Disney's bathrooms, I think, are not as good as Buckee's bathrooms. So there you go. I said it. It's true. And I've been to almost every bathroom at Disney. They do have some nice ones, I will say. The only thing that has been as nice as this are the bathrooms at Tiffany's department store in New York City on the Upper East Side. I think that's where it was. Anyway, I'm sure there's only one big Tiffany store in New York City. That was the first time in my life I've ever seen a bathroom where you walk in and you have your own room and the walls go all the way down. And they may have been pure marble. So there's that. Yeah. So okay, that one rivaled. That one's better. Other than that, but that's not a gas station bathroom, right? This is a gas station bathroom. So amazing. All right, that's it. I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna drive. I'm gonna listen to a podcast, probably on Harry and Meghan, because my algorithm is now full of Harry and Meghan. I have to keep going in and search for stuff. I've been trying to listen to more investing videos, and so that might be in the algorithm, but I'm not searching and scrolling while I'm driving, so I'll let you know what I end up listening to. But I do enjoy listening to different podcasts. I was going to listen to a book on tape I have, but I should have figured it out before I started driving. I'm trying to remember. I think it's in my Audible, but I'd have to find the app and everything, so anyway, so I'm not doing that. So I'm going to listen to a podcast, and I am going to eat. Oh, I forgot to put this back in my bag. I'm not eating this now. I'm going to eat this when I get home, and I can heat up that chicken sandwich. Wait, at Double Dog's restaurant, the food was good. The fries were okay. They were real skinny, and so they weren't really soft. I like a good soft fry. Everyone's like, oh, I like a good crunch on the outside and soft inside. I'm like, no, the whole thing can just flop over, and I'm happy. Just fold it over and shove it in my mouth. Oh, that's my favorite way to eat a French fry. So, in my opinion, they were overcooked, but I love me a French fry, so they gave a ton of them. I ate half, and then I brought half home, and I brought half the sandwich home. Because it was the largest chicken sandwich I've ever seen. I mean, the piece is about as big as my hand that I brought home, and that's just half of it. So I ate most of it with the bun and the lettuce, tomato. It was almost like a bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich with a breaded piece of chicken on it. Good stuff. Highly recommend. And I didn't think about this when I chose it either, but it was perfect for my daughter, the veterinarian, because Double Dog's restaurant was all dog themed. So they have dog named foods, and they have pictures of dogs, caricature pictures of dogs doing different things, and then there were actual photos of the dogs, I think from the owners, and then there was like next generation dogs, and they were like the puppies from the 2 dogs that are kind of around the place, and then just like a lot of, I think there were dogs that looked like specific athletes, and I'm like, that one kind of looks like LeBron James. I'm like, it's not LeBron James, because we're in Tennessee. We're not in Ohio, where LeBron is beloved. So I'm thinking they might be local athletes, and then they had the ball caps and all that, but I don't know Tennessee athletes. So, but it was cute, and it's all caricature paintings all over the walls. And then on your way to the bathroom there, they have a whole wall that, what did they call it? It was cute. It was like dining guest dogs or something like that. And so anybody can bring in a picture of their dog and stick it up with a pin on this board, and then write on the front of it the name of your dog. It was cute. Our favorite dog name was Colonel Sanders. It's such a great dog name. I love it. Colonel Sanders. So that was our favorite one. Because I was saying to my daughter, I said, you've probably recognized all these names that are here. She's like, pretty much. I've pretty much seen it all. I'm like, oh, look at this one though. Colonel Sanders. She's like, oh my God, that's so cute. I love that name. Now, if I have a dog, I think I want to name it Colonel Sanders. We had a Mr. Gimli. That was his name, our cat. And we called him Mr. Gimli. We never called him. Occasionally we'd say Gimli. Or like, if I was talking to somebody else about him, I would say Gimli did this, but not, that would only be like immediate family members. When I referred to him, when I would talk to him, and I was trying to call him or whatever, or if I was talking to anybody outside my immediate family, it was always Mr. Gimli. And it's Mr. Gimli, excuse me if I told the story already. The reason why his name is Mr. Gimli is because when we got him as a kitten for Christmas, that's a story in of itself. Remind me to tell that someday. The story of getting the kitten for Christmas. It's crazy. It's a good story. So he was a Christmas gift to the kids, and we were trying to come up with a name, and we were right. I think I remember telling this. Sorry, I think I'm repeating myself. It was right at the time, because it was Christmas break. As a family, we usually like watch through a series of something, and we were doing Lord of the Rings. I had Game of Thrones in my head. I'm like, no, we did not watch Game of Thrones as a family when my kids were young. So we were watching Lord of the Rings series, and the girls, they're like, let's pick something from that series, because that's something we're doing as a family at the same time we got the cat. And the girls wanted to name him something like Lancelophalos, or like, it was just this long name, because I want to say he was like king of the elves or something. He had long blonde hair, and he was strikingly good looking and muscular, and so they had a crush on him. They were at the time both middle school age, I want to say. And I just said, it's not, and we tried to abbreviate it, and it wasn't working. And my son was kind of like, he was happy with any name, because it was happy that we were getting it from Lord of the Rings. So I felt like that was his contribution, because we all watched Lord of the Rings for him, because he read all the books. He was like only in like late elementary school at the time, but he was an avid reader, and he loves fantasy and that kind of, and battles and whatnot. So the whole series, it wasn't my cup of tea. I don't mind. I watched all the Catching Fire, Mockingjay, the Hunger Games series. Those movies I loved. And all the Harry Potter movies, I love those too. I just couldn't get into Lord of the Rings. They were too long to begin with. They needed to chop off like 20 minutes from them, and I bet I would have enjoyed it. And of that 20 minutes, it could have been battles. Lot of battles. Battles lasted too long. That was not my thing. Kind of like I did watch, not with my kids, but I did watch a series of, this is back in the day when I used to watch TV. Fun times. I watched Game of Thrones. Some of those, the battles went on too long. Some of it was a little too raunchy too. It was gratuitous and unnecessary. Like, I'm not this staunch prude or anything, but I was watching it going, seriously? It's not necessary. Basically, soft porn kind of scenes that I'm like, why? It got better as the series went on. They cut back. I think they did it in season 1 because it was on HBO and they could get away with it, and it was sort of like that drew in a whole crowd of people, not me. I didn't know that about it when I started watching, nor, and I think I told you this already, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but nor did I know it was fantasy. Had I known it was a series on fantasy, I would have never started watching it on my own. Everything fantasy I've watched, including Star Wars. I enjoy Star Wars a lot too. All the fantasy series I've watched because my son has been interested in them. Well, my son had not watched Game of Thrones in elementary school. He's probably watched it on his own by now. We did not watch it as a family together or anything like that, because of the occasional inappropriate scene that would make you squirm if you were in the same room with your mother, and I'm even squirming with my kids in the room thinking I don't want them to see this, no matter what age they are. Even now in their 20s, I don't want them to see it. Anyway, I will say the storylines in Game of Thrones were very good. I know I'm not making an excuse because I want to watch. It's not like I'm looking at the Playboy for the articles. Because they have such good articles. That's the only reason I subscribe to Playboy. Remember people used to say that back in the day? I don't know. Or, where's that Penthouse? Was it Playboy or Penthouse that they said had great articles? So it's worth getting. I swear that was just like a marketing ploy that whatever magazine it was put out there. So that like, hey, don't feel guilty about having this in your house because our articles are amazing. And you should buy it for the articles. You know, if you happen to look at one of the pictures of the naked women, then, you know, so be it. But the articles, they're the bomb. I don't ever remember any kind of literature Pulitzer Prize winning articles or anything from those magazines. But good marketing, I guess. Good marketing for people who want to justify their subscription. How do we get on that topic? Because we were talking about Game of Thrones, that's why. Anyway, we were talking about different series and whatnot. So my cat ended up being named Gimli. We liked Gimli because it was a cute name. That would be a good cat name because a lot of the names in the show were good cat names. And we all liked the character. Like sometimes there'd be a cute cat name, but we didn't like who the character was. We didn't want to name the cat after the character. So Gimli was the head of he was the leader of the elves, I believe, into battle. Or, not elves. They were the little people. What were they? They were dwarves, I think. I think they were dwarves in the series. So he was the king of the dwarves. And we were on the side of the dwarves, I believe. I don't remember a lot of it. I did zone out a little bit while watching it, I'll be honest. Anyway, so it was going to be Gimli. But then my daughter, my oldest daughter, the one that had the baby, before we were picking names, her contribution right from the beginning, before we decided to go with Lord of the Rings, is I want it to be a name that starts with Mr. because he's a boy. I want it to be Mr. something. Because she had a friend who had a cat or a dog that was named Mr. Bojangles. And I'm like, well, but Mr. Bojangles goes together because that's the name in the song. Mr. Bojangles. But she didn't know the song Mr. Bojangles. But she just thought it was really cute. And she thought that they just called him Mr. something. And then his name was Bo and Jangles. So Mr. Bojangles. I wonder if I have to get over. So the police is in the lane. No, I can be in the center lane. I'm fine. they not know they're not supposed to go into the left lane? I think you're supposed to go over to the right side. Well, anyway. Driving too fast. I'm going 77 and a 70. Just cruising, keeping up with traffic. Got a little pickup in front of me. I've just been following him and taking his speed. There's probably enough room for about 5 cars in between us. There's not that many people on the road for being a Saturday. People are where they need to be already, I think. Okay. This styrofoam, I just realized, was squeaking, and if you heard that the whole time and it's really high pitched, I apologize. Alright, so anyway, that's how we ended up with Mr. Gimli. That's the story of Mr. Gimli, our cat. Bless his heart. May he rest in peace. And let me educate everybody out there that cats will starve themselves to death. I'm gonna end this on a sad story. My daughter was in undergrad. I don't think she was even in vet school yet. She was in undergrad. She was talking about how important it is for cats to eat wet food too, because they normally don't drink enough, and they get the moisture in the wet food that helps supplement. And I was feeding Mr. Gimli just dry food, because in my opinion, dry food was the best food for when growing up with dogs. Dry food helps clean the teeth as they chomp it, and so it's better than wet food. Oops, state police just flew by. I wonder if he was the one that was back there, maybe trying to catch somebody else. Nope, he's getting off the freeway. Well, that might be the end of his jurisdiction. Okay, so after she told me I should really be giving him some wet food too, I thought, okay, I'll switch to wet food. And I gave him both. At first, he wouldn't eat the wet food at all. So I took the dry food away, thinking, well, he'll be forced to eat the wet food, and eventually I'll bring the dry food back after he's used to eating the wet food. Because when my kids were small and they didn't want to eat, or they only wanted to eat certain things, and I didn't know how to get them to finish their dinner before having dessert and everything, I just remember my pediatrician saying, a child will never starve themselves. So if they don't finish it, it's okay to cover it up, and when they're hungry later on, you bring that food back out. They'll eat it. When they're hungry enough, they will eat the food that's in front of them. And that was my concern. That like, oh, I don't want it to be that she's not getting enough nutrition, and then she's going to starve herself, or she's going to acquire whatever. Now, different people have different medical conditions that might affect them, blah, blah, blah. This was a general statement that my pediatrician said to my otherwise healthy daughter, or told me about my otherwise healthy daughter. And it worked. I would cover up her food. She'd eat a portion of it and say, I'm full, I can't eat anymore. And I said, okay. And then we'd get to dessert, and all of a sudden she was hungry again, and she could eat dessert. And I said, no, you have to finish your food. And so I would cover it up and let her go play or do whatever, and we would sit around the table, my husband and I, and then we'd get out dessert, and anybody who had finished their food could have it. Not that we gave her that much food either, but she wasn't going to control us and make half of her meals be ice cream. I said, all right, well, I got your food here all covered in saran wrap. Let's uncover it, and you finish it up, and you can have your ice cream. And it worked, and eventually she just started eating all her food and going and playing, because she was hungry still. She just wanted ice cream. All right. So I assume that applied to animals as well, and it doesn't. So he was kind of picking at it. He'd eat a little bit of it, but not much. And I'm like, well, he's getting enough. In the course of just a couple days, a cat can get themselves, sometimes they just go on hunger strikes. He wasn't on a complete hunger strike, so I wasn't too concerned. Like, he was eating the food, but obviously not nearly enough. And then their kidneys shut down. And that's all she wrote. We had to put him down. It was a sad day. get both wet and dry food right from jump. Like, here you go, try both. All right, and on that note, oh, my sandwich is getting cold. I almost forgot about it. All right, I love you all. Gimli was a rescue cat, and he got a great 8 years of life in our home, being spoiled and loved to death, before he went on to kitty heaven, where someday his siblings who are in my house right now will join him. It's a fine story. It's fine. But if I can educate anybody, I'm happy to do so. Maybe I'll give you one more update before I get home, but I'm going to focus on something else now. You take care. Have a great day. Bye, friends. I'm back. Good to see ya. Just realized I need to straighten up here. Alright, so I had a delicious, what kind of beef was that? I forgot already. Brisket and egg. They called it a taco, but it was like a burrito. Very good, and cheese. And I had a couple potato chips with it. Still a lot left over. Oh, and then I had a Long John. I'm not a huge donut fan, but I like certain donuts. I do have a weakness for Krispy Kreme. The melt in your mouth part of it gets me all the time. Just a plain glazed Krispy Kreme. Favorite Krispy Kreme donut? Glazed, which is their signature too. And other than that, I like a donut that is chocolate icing with white cream filled. So a Long John, essentially. But sometimes they're not Long John, sometimes they're circular. But I don't like the Bavarian cream, and I don't like custard. Like the white cream with the chocolate frosting. I'm very particular. Kind of like eating a ho-ho or a Little Debbie Swiss cake roll, of which, out of all the Little Debbie products, the Swiss cake rolls are my favorite. So I'm nothing if not consistent, even if my palate's not well refined or expansive. So I did that, and then I called my girlfriend and we talked for about an hour. And then she's like, give me an hour and call me back. She was, her son was there. She was going to make lunch for her son. And she said, I told him I would make it shortly. And so at the beginning of the call, she said, I'm going to divide this up into 2 different calls. I said, that's fine. So I figured we talked for like 15 minutes and then she'd call later. But no, we talked for an hour, and then she's like, okay, in about an hour, she said, how much time do you have left on your trip? I said, 4 hours and 15 minutes. She goes, okay, in about an hour, call me back again. We'll keep talking. Oh, she's a good friend. She's doing okay. Let's go 51 and a 70. Oh, cute. I was waiting for him to pass me, and then he slowed down so I could get in his lane. That never happens. I was ill-prepared. Just waiting for him to pass me. I'm like, why is it taking so long for him to pass me? All right, now we're back. 74 and a 70. That's a comfortable speed. Now he's zipping by me. I think he's not happy that it took so long to get over. Well, I appreciate you though. Ohio license plate. Kind people. I have to tell you about my Gallatin utility episode. So on Friday morning, I had planned to take care of all, make sure everything got on auto pay, still trying to figure it out, what's on, what's not. The fact that I pay a bill and then they say, well, you're not in our system. Like, just a lot of stuff going on. And so I had a whole list. Here's the association fee, here's the mortgage, here's the electricity, here's the water, here's the garbage. How much is it a month? Because I figured I kind of need to know what I'm spending a month here too. So what was my last bill? So I have a general guesstimate of how much I'm paying a month there. Obviously it will go up or down based on if people are in the unit using the different utilities, but still, some things won't go up and down, like the internet. And then my windshield wiper, it's been raining on, raining off, raining on, raining off. Okay. And so he was up early in the morning, my daughter was still getting ready, and I was getting ready. He was actually gone doing his rollerblading. This was like 2 days ago, Friday. And I was in my bathroom, and then the light turned off. So I went to turn it on, like I figured it flickered, because it kind of flickered, and then it sort of flickered again when I went to turn it on, and then it wouldn't go on at all. And right away, I blamed my electrician. So, oh man, I said, well, he's coming back for free and fixing this, because this light switch should be working until we decide to change out the light switches again. How often do light switches go bad? Now, outlets sometimes do because they get loose, but light switches, I've never had a light switch go bad. Okay, that's not to say there's never been one in the world that hasn't gone bad, but generally speaking, they don't go bad. So then I thought, well, okay, let me check the next switch over, because the next light switch goes to just the shower. Nothing. I'm like, oh, great, the power's out. This is the one day that I'm staying here an extra day to work online and take care of all these bills and do everything. And of course, there's no power for the whole day, or what? Because I'm going to stay close to home in case it goes on. I'm not going to go to my daughter's house with my other daughter and her husband. But am I going to sit here in silence all day, or what? So I said, well, you know what? I have to go to the utility office anyway, because I have to figure out what's on auto pay and what's not on auto pay. How do I get it on auto pay? Okay. I did take care of it. Okay. I was just thinking through another step in the process. So I said to my son-in-law, you want to come with me? He was back in his rollerblading now. He's like, yeah, sure, let's go. Love to see around Gallatin. I like to see a little bit more Gallatin. I said, okay, well, this is like 6 minutes from my house, so you're not going to see a lot, but we'll go in there. He just thought it was the most adorable office, and largely because the people in the public utility office at Gallatin couldn't be nicer if they tried. And that is the saving grace of all of this. Remember how I said that she was so nice on the phone? But it's all messed up. So they handle garbage and water, I've realized. Maybe gas too, but there's nothing gas in my unit. So, and then you have to go to the electric utility office for electricity. So I was dealing with water and electricity, trying to take care of those. So I said to the guy, I need to get this onto auto pay. How do I do it? He said, well, you can fill out a form here, or you can go online and do it like this way. So I'll fill out the form there. So I go to fill out the form, and then he looks it up. And again, I'm thinking, why are we filling out paper forms for all this? Like, it just seems so archaic, but okay. And everybody's so nice, I'm not going to complain. So I'm filling it out, and then I give it to him, and he looks it up. He's like, well, you have a past due amount on here with a service charge or a finance charge too. I said, really? I didn't pay my bill? He goes, well, it was for your payment being declined. And I said, my payment was declined? And I'm like, I'm surprised by that. How did I pay? And he said it was a bank draft. I said, well, it shouldn't have been declined. He's like, no, and he's looking at it. He goes, oh, give me a minute. Let me go talk to my supervisor. And then he comes back. And he says, okay, the reason, he confirmed with me, what is your bank number? And I told him my bank account number. And he said, okay. The mistake is, after you filled it out last time, because I'm like, yeah, deja vu, but I had done it online the last time. After you filled it out last time, they then have to manually take the information and enter it somewhere else. Why? I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. I'm like, can we have more people have to be involved in this, increasing the risk of things going wrong? It's crazy to me, just crazy. Yeah, I'm just gonna stay on 71 here. I'm gonna have to pay attention because now I'm getting close to Cincinnati. I shouldn't have started talking before I got to Cincinnati. What was I thinking? And I don't have my navigation on. Maybe I will. I'll put on my car's navigation just because it's very simple. It should not get confused. Navigation, saved places, home. Set as a destination. Start guidance.
The route guidance will start now.
Okay.
Continue on current road for about 18 miles.
Yes, ma'am. So he said, what happened was, I take the number and transfer it to something else and enter it into another part. And when I did that, I wrote a number incorrect. So it's my fault. And I'm sorry about that. This truck is way over the line. Like his whole tire was over the line. You're a truck, sir. You gotta stay between the lines. You're wide to begin with. Okay. Just so you know. And he apologized and said it was his fault and they would take the fee off and fix it. So I said, oh, okay, thanks so much. And then he must have said 3 times, it was my fault, I copied it wrong. And I said, well, I said, I appreciate you saying that. A lot of people don't admit when they do something wrong. And he's like, well, what would be the point in that? And I'm like, I don't know, but trust me, I know them. There are people who cannot admit they are wrong. And it's frustrating. So it's refreshing to have somebody who's just like, that was my fault, I screwed up. He's like, yeah. So my son-in-law, he's just like, everybody's so nice in the office. Did you see the breakfast plates they had there? That was like those look like homemade biscuits that were on there. And the eggs and everything. And he goes, like somebody made breakfast back there for everybody. And they're all like, everybody was so sweet and so nice. I go, they're so nice here. They're so nice. It's kind of backwards, but it's not really their fault. They're just stuck in the same system. Who's ever the head of all utilities in Gallatin needs to get their act together and get up with the current times and then bring in the new system and implement it and train everybody. Right now, everyone's just doing the old system, which is very labor intensive and prone to mistakes. So we took care of that. But then there was another step. He's like, well, he goes, after I was filling out the form, he said that the form's going to be a bank draft because I did a bank draft last time. If I wanted to do a credit card, I had to go online to do it. And I said, was there a fee to do it online? No. Okay. So I went home and I did it. But when I went to do it online at home, it said I already had it set up. So I must have made the one payment and then set up the auto pay, and he couldn't see that it was set up, maybe because the system's so archaic. I don't know. Anyway, so I took care of that, and then I said to him, I need to take care of my electricity bill too. I need to set it up on auto pay. And he's like, okay, well, that's not here, that's at the, so, and I said, well, where do I go for that? And they had a little paper clip on a bunch of cut up little slips of paper with the address and the directions from their place to the other place. So obviously people are oftentimes going from one to the other. How nice would it be if there was like a window right next door? Maybe they could build a new building and everybody could be together in there. I don't know. So my power was still out when I had left at home. And I said to him on the way there, now we didn't have far to go, but we did go through 2 lights, and the traffic was pretty backed up at the one, and I'm like, well, I guess it is still morning. It's in the 8 o'clock hour. This is rush hour traffic. I normally don't go this way. And then we realized there was a police officer there directing traffic at that light. That light was out. And I'm like, oh. And we knew it wasn't just our unit, because I kept saying to my son-in-law, I go, I might have not paid my bill. I think I've paid all my bill. Actually, most of my accounts have a credit, because I panicked so much about not paying my bill that I paid it twice. So whatever the bill was is now a credit for the next month, because I'm just, yeah, worried. All right. We're going all right. We're going 65 and 65. It's fine. It's just everyone's blowing by me on both sides. So I said to the guy, I said, I was going to also mention that our electricity was out, but since you're not the electric department, you don't know. And I said, since the traffic light was out at the corner, I'm assuming everybody knows anyway. He's like, yeah. He's like, there's a lot. That's a lot of area. A lot of the area is out. Okay. So we get to the electric company place, and we go in, and all you hear are phones ringing, 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 ringing. Those poor people. So there was a gal on the phone, and then she called me up next. There weren't that many people there, but the people that were there were basically there to tell them that they didn't have power. And my son-in-law noticed, because I was doing most of the talking and filling out paperwork and everything the whole time, that because I had to fill out paperwork for the electric company as well to do auto draft. He said, he goes, I have to say, all the people who've come in here to say that they don't have electricity and that, he goes, nobody's upset. They're all like, yeah, I just wanted you to know we don't have any. And City of Florence, Kentucky is on the bridge. I was going to talk to you about bridges. Remind me if I don't mention it later. Bridges in the city names. Okay. So my son-in-law was like, nobody came in angry, nobody came in upset. One guy would come in ahead of another woman, hold the door for her letter, just go ahead of them in line. He's like, everybody's just been really, he's so impressed with Gallatin. He's like, he feels like his little Wisteria Lane. Remember how I said it looks like Wisteria Lane? It's so perfect in front of the townhomes. So I said to the gal, she just kept saying, I'm so sorry, while you do that, do you mind if I answer the phones? And everyone is like, oh, thank you. What is your address? Okay, we've got it marked down. There is a large outage in Gallatin, and we're going to, they're on it. They know what the source of the problem is, and they're working on it now, so hopefully soon. No, I'm sorry, we don't know what time it's going to come back, of which I knew what time it was going to come back, before 11 a.m. because I got a text message from Xfinity, my old internet provider, who the day before sent me a bill for another $52. I'm like, well, I got rid of you back at the end of April. This is mid-May. Why are you sending me another bill? And now why are you texting me telling me that my internet is out and it might come back? Obviously, because there was no power, their internet was connected to the power, so that's how Xfinity. I will appreciate the fact that Xfinity, I didn't hear a peep from AT&T. That's who I have internet with. Nothing. Crickets. Makes me want to go back to Xfinity. It really does. Things were so smooth over there. AT&T has been nothing but a headache. Anyway, that's a whole other conversation. I've got more stories regarding AT&T. So I took care of everything. I filled out the manual paperwork and that for auto draft, and apparently it's all going to go smoothly. I was paid up, and she said that this should go through this week, which means my next payment will come out as an auto draft, and I don't have to worry about making a payment in between, because usually there's that weird grace period where they're like, yeah, you're going to have to keep making payments for another month or two. I had one place that said 2 more months. Okay. It seems like it should be electronic, and this can all just happen instantly, but if it's going to take you 2 months to figure out how to get this working, then okay. Well, that went quickly with the utility store. So I was all excited about that. So we're walking out, and my son-in-law tells me, he goes, "Did you hear what was wrong?" Because the gal on the phone, she was just telling everybody, no, I don't know exactly what it is, but I know that they know and that they're working on it. So my son, apparently the lady at the other window was singing like a bird if they weren't supposed to say anything. And he said, "Do you want to know why the power went out?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, squirrel got into the transformer and got fried. I said, "I bet he got fried. He took the power out of the whole city of Gallatin. Traffic lights, homes, everything. Poor squirrel. Bless his little heart. He can't even learn from his mistake, poor guy." And what a gruesome discovery that was when they went to the transformer to see why it was out. Anyway, so that was my morning, but it felt productive in the end. I kept telling my son-in-law, I'm like, "Thank you so much for going with me. Thank you so much for going with me." You know, I'm just grateful that the power went out because it forced me to just get out the door and drive there and take care of this stuff. Whereas I probably would have tried calling, trying to do it online on my own, would have had problems, and then eventually gave up and said, "I'm just going in to take care of it." So that felt very good. And Xfinity, I got a hold of, we went round and round the mulberry bush with them. I started the day before trying to chat with them. It would not give me to a live agent. Kept saying a live agent wasn't available. There was no one to talk to. Can't talk to a live agent. Can't connect me to a live agent. But I can help you. And then it would ask the same questions over and over again. That's why I say round and round the mulberry bush. I was doing something else at the same time. So I'd just look up at the chat every now and then and go, "Oh, yeah, there's that question again." And then I'd answer. I try to answer them a little different to maybe get a different path to maybe get to a live agent. Never worked. And they even said, "You need a live agent to take care of this problem right now." So the next day when I went on and we started going down the same path on the chat, because it didn't have a phone number listed. I almost just called an actual store location, but I didn't know if they had any kind of tech and billing support there. I didn't think they would. So at any rate, I went through the chat, but I told them I wanted to cancel my account. I'm like, that's because I was not getting anywhere. And they're like, "Oh, there's not an agent available, and can we help you with this?" And you know, they're trying to get AI to solve your problem. And I'm like, I can't solve this problem. And then at one point it's like, "So to be clear, are you trying to cancel service or clarify a situation with the bill?" And I'm like, "Both." I thought I canceled my service. She said I canceled it on April 27th. I have the date. So I decided to just say I wanted to cancel my service, because they're definitely going to give you an agent if you say that. And they're going to give you somebody who's going to try to talk you into staying and not cancel. So I went ahead and said I wanted to cancel service. Oh, okay. Please wait. We need to connect you with a live agent in order to do that. Great. And I don't feel like I was deceptive or conniving at all, because I am trying to cancel my service. I still have it. I got the text message from that morning that says your service is out and will be restored at 11 a.m. And I just got a bill 2 days ago for another $50. So I clearly do still have service that needs to be canceled. It's just kind of a unique situation. So the gal looked into it and she saw that indeed it should have been canceled on the 27th, and maybe there was a glitch in the system. She's unsure. She didn't take care of it. She goes, "I know they told you to wait 3 days. It says here in the notes before the full cancellation would go through." She goes, "That's what makes me think there may have been a glitch in the system, because we're going to take care of this right away. We'll take care of it in 3 minutes." I'm like, hallelujah. And then she goes through the same thing that happened with when I got Spectrum internet cable at home, and they're like, "We'll give you a free phone line for a year if you'd like." And so I did it, and I gave it to my son, so he had his phone free for a year rather than switching my service. That was a few years back. So she's like, we have a free line. And then she goes on to say, even with canceling your internet, you don't have to have the internet. We can get you that line and it'll be free for a year. Well, did my ears perk up? I'm still having problems with my cell phone. I have so few bars on it. I always have 2 or 1 bar. I don't know if I ever saw 3 bars. The entire, whether I was home and not from home, away. The neighbor girl said she has AT&T. She has to be in Wi-Fi. The minute she gets out of Wi-Fi, it won't connect until she's out of her driveway and starting down the street. Like, she's like, I don't know, maybe we're kind of in a dead spot or something. I'm like, I can't believe everything I've gone through to switch when everything was fine before. But it's working out in the end, because as she starts explaining to me, it's going to be unlimited internet, it's going to be this, that, and it's free for a year. So what is it after here? $30. Oh, well, that's a good deal. I like $30. $30 for unlimited.
2 miles. Keep left onto I-75.
And international. I have international calling too. And I think I have international. I'm back. You didn't even know I was gone, did you? No, of course you didn't, because I got an incoming phone call while I was talking to you. And it was my friend. She was calling back, so I just talked to her for an hour. And I got to the gas station that I put in my notes on the way down here, had gas that was 10 cents cheaper than Columbus. And because I had to go to the bathroom, I'm like, I'm just going to stop here and go so I don't have to get all the way through Columbus before having to stop somewhere, because I'm not stopping in like downtown Columbus area. It's crazy there, and the gas is the highest. So we had to discontinue the phone conversation. Otherwise, we probably would have talked for another hour. No joke. Oh, it's good to have a good friend that you can just talk and be comfortable with. I think because we've known each other through college, and because we lived together for 2 years. 2 years of college, we lived together. There we go. I told her I was going to get some bad food too, and in the gas station, I walked by Krispy Kreme donuts, 6 of them in a box, but you know what? They're better when they're slightly warm. Like, they taste like they came fresh off the conveyor belt that they have in there where they make them fresh. They taste just as good. They taste like they're fresh. If you slightly warm, if you overwarm them, then the glaze starts to melt, and then they're not as good. They still have a great taste, but the whole texture, it becomes different. But if you just slightly warm it in the microwave, boom, just a couple seconds. So good. So I thought, I'm not going to do that because I can't warm them up, even though they're still good just the way they are. But I justified it. And then I go to the bathroom and I'm walking back, and on the way back, I see the little powdered donuts. Those are like my 2 Achilles. I have 3 Achilles heels when it comes to sweets. I'm not a huge fan of sweets, although I will say in the past couple months, really ever since I started going down to Tennessee, I've acquired this taste for sweets. I don't even know how else to put it. It's not pervasive, thank goodness. It's not like that's all I want to eat is sweets. But normally, I'm a meat and potatoes gal. I'm not a sugar gal. I like meat and potatoes, and then like a small little sweet as a treat afterwards, maybe once a day. Other than that, just regular food I'm good with. I like salty. I'm a saltaholic. I'm also a carb addict. So if the sweets involve carbs, like a donut, i.e. donut, Little Miss Swiss cake rolls, both donuts. I just realized both of them were donuts. To me, they're like 2 different foods. But Krispy Kreme donuts, the little white powdered donuts, Little Miss Swiss cake rolls. I like cake and sweet together. So good. All right, anyway, I'm proud of myself because I walked by all of it. And I came back to the car. I'm like, no. I have a little bit of actual cookie dough that was left over that I just stuck in a baggie. And it was in the back of the refrigerator, so we'll see if it's okay. I have to serve a church in the morning, so I can't have my stomach gurgling. I can't keep running to the bathroom. Well, I can. But I don't want to keep running to the bathroom that's a public bathroom that everybody else is using. If you get what I mean without going into details. I don't need to be ruining the church experience for everybody else. So, at first my mind was just, I can't leave my post. I'm like, I can leave my post. Not like anything's going to happen. I'm not the security at the church. I'm not one of the security guys that are all wired up with earphones and all that. Makes me feel so comfortable to know in a public place like that, in a time, sadly, where churches and synagogues and mosques are getting shot up, that when I attend my church, that people are packing. Let's just put it that way. Don't bother coming to my church unless you want it to be your last day. A lot of police officers go there. We have a very top-notch security team for being a small church. And there's not very many ways to get in there. So once they're in, they'll be tackled. We probably have, I don't know, 6 to 8 guys on security at our tiny little church every Sunday. And they know what they're doing. So we have a lot of police officers and retired police officers, and a lot of ex-military as well. We're in good shape. Anyway, I don't know why I said that. Just in case anybody happens to be watching this and they're like, I don't like that gal. And I know she mentioned her church at one point and it's here, so I'm going to go get her. Don't come to get me. Unless you don't want to make it another day on this earth. Alright, so now after that threat went out, I should probably delete all of this and just start new. Hi, I'm back. Driving home because our last conversation got interrupted because my friend called back. She said an hour. It had only been a half an hour, I think. I guess I didn't really pay attention. Maybe it was an hour. Okay, so shoot, I had a couple things in my mind I was going to talk to you about. I don't want to just sit here and because that's boring for you. Shoot. When I was in the bathroom at the gas station, there were 2 stalls. It wasn't the greatest. It wasn't a good bath. I mean, by any standard. I'm not comparing it to Buckee's by any means. Just in terms of bathrooms. I'm like, oh, there's a Speedway. They usually have nice bathrooms. Yeah. But there were 2 stalls in there. It wasn't just a single one. I'm like, okay. Nice-ish. Because usually the individual ones where you just go in, they're so sketch. I think people who want to do bad things know that they can go in there and nobody's going to see them, and so I don't know. I think somehow they're just never in great shape. So this one had 2. It still wasn't in great shape, but I'm like, okay. The handicap one was the first one, and the doors were closed on them, and you can see through that crack so clearly when you walk in. I'm like, I'm not going in there. I'm going to take that little one. The little one was like little. I'm like, that's fine. I'm going to go in there. I think there were 2 normal ones at one point, and they had to make one handicapped to be in compliance with ADA. So they made the one as big as they needed to for ADA, so the other one became very tiny. So I'm like, I'm just going to take that tiny little one, because nobody can, like, if they're waiting, if people come and they start waiting, they're not going to just be standing there staring at me through the crack. Could not get that door closed. I don't know. I'm like, I guess I'm going in the big one. As soon as I go in and lock the door, I don't even have my pants down yet, and somebody walks in. I'm like, of course. course. So I'm in the one stall, she's in the other one. And just because there's nothing to look at but white or cream everywhere, I was just kind of looking at like her pedicure job, which was quite nice. She had thongs on, or thongs? They're not called thongs. Tongs? They're not called tongs. What are they called? Flip-flops. There's a word that's either thong or tong that they used to be called back in the day. Anyway, flip-flops. She had flip-flops on, so I could see her nice pedicure, and I was appreciating her color choice, the shape of the nails. Something to look at. But then I started noticing that she got in there. She never peed. She went in, she grabbed a bunch of toilet paper. She was facing the door like she was gonna sit down. I don't think she did. And I thought, oh, maybe but she was up on her toes the whole time. And I thought, oh, she's a squatter. She's not gonna sit on that seat. That's good. As long as she doesn't make the seat all wet and then walk away, which many squatters do. So rude. She never peed. She grabbed a whole bunch of toilet paper. She was facing the door. There was rustling, and then she flushed the toilet, and she zipped her pants back up and left. I don't know. Maybe she just needed some extra toilet paper to get her to the next location or something. I don't know. Anyway, this is so much TMI. I should delete this entire video. It's like one inappropriate topic to another. That's what's happening here. It's because I got off the phone with my friend who is inappropriate, if there ever was. We just did a lot of laughing. We can say inappropriate things and we can laugh. We also get each other and we're on the same wavelength. Very comfortable hanging out with her. There's no trying to read her mind or figure out what she's thinking about something. She just comes right out and says it, but in a fun and joking and enlightening way. She's not offensive, she's not abrasive, she doesn't rub you the wrong way. She's a good friend. Anyway, not that you're ever going to meet her, so what was the point of telling you that? Shout out to my friend whose name I'm not saying, because I'm trying not to say names of anybody on this channel, but I had already given up my kids' names on my other channel, and that one has over 30,000 subscribers, so I figured, well, this one doesn't even have 1,000. And it's probably never going to get, it's going to get past 1,000. I'm bound and determined. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but hopefully there's people out there, more people out there like us, wonderful women who want to follow along. All right, anything else I can teach or enlighten you on? I'm excited to get home, see my husband and my son in person, and to have a little bit of normalcy. We had a conversation about decluttering. So I did mention before that she had gone through a divorce and it was official last week. So she was going through her garage and going through all the boxes of stuff, and she took like 11 bags, garbage bags full of stuff to Goodwill the other day. I gotta tell you, I'm living vicariously through you. Like, I want to do that so bad, but most of the just stuff and junk that we have, I think it's my husband's, but maybe it's not. You know, maybe I really need to start going through and purging. Somehow I managed to survive down in Tennessee with 5 pairs of pants, about 5 long sleeve shirts, 5 short sleeve shirts, 5 blouses, 5 sweatshirts, and now that I've done some thrifting, about 5 sweaters. I like 5 of everything, and then I just rotate through them. And that doesn't seem to be a problem. So I feel like when I look at the vast amount of clothes that are in my closet, I need to purge. When I look at my cupboard that's below, my sink in the bathroom in Tennessee, I realized I don't need all the stuff that I have as, I think, backup, maybe? It's uncertain. Now, you do know I go through stuff and I use stuff, but if it's lotions and if it's skincare and that kind of stuff, that all has expirations on it. And they do start to smell funky over time. So there's no purpose in like, oh, it's on sale now, let me buy it, even though I don't need another one for about 4 or 5 months. And then by the time I use through that one at the end, it's going to be funky and stanky. So I'm feeling more encouraged to do a little bit of purging. My counselors told me that I need to do some organization and that I also need to get the house cleaner back. All things that are going to help simplify my life. And it's true. And so I had that conversation with my friend when she was going through it, and she's like, oh, it's going to be so nice to just like kind of redo everything, restructure, purge everything I don't need. She said most of the stuff in her house is stuff she's bought. So it's not a matter of getting rid of too much that her ex-husband had. But she's had him come once or twice to pick up a box or two of stuff that was his that he hadn't taken before. They have an amicable divorce, which is admirable. I think that's difficult for a lot of men and women to do. I think mostly men, but maybe women too. I think it depends on who's the one that did the other one wrong. You know? It's hard to get over that bitterness. But kudos to everybody who can. I never really thought what I would be like if I went through one. I feel like I'm a generally easygoing person, so I would like to think I would take it in an easygoing fashion. I mean, there would have to be a reason behind the whole divorce, you know, and a logic to it. And so I feel like my logical, practical brain would take over and say, this is happening because this has to happen, and because this did happen, and because here are the circumstances that are going on, and therefore you are in the situation. And my brain would just go, okay. And therefore the next logical step is I need to do this and this, and I'd just be starting to plan and prepare for everything I have to do going forward. That's what I feel like. But I don't know. Never really thought about it. Now that you mention it, why'd you bring it up? Sad topic. We've had some sad topics here today. I have a feeling like this video is going to be divided into two. It's going to be way too long. Definitely way too long. Way too long. I hope you can hear me okay. I feel like I can barely hear myself, and that I'm almost screaming to talk to my friend when I was talking to her. And the phone is further away now than when I was holding it over here, which was closer to my mouth. It's twice as far away, so I might have to just like turn up the volume all the way, but you're also going to get the outside noise as well. The road noise gets amplified when my voice gets amplified. So we'll see. I don't know. I might have been recording this for a couple hours and I have to just scrap it all because it's useless. There's some beautiful white puffy clouds up in the front in the sky, which is nice because I've gone through some rain. Most of the time I wasn't talking to you. I was driving through rain. But it's nice now. Raining in northern Kentucky and the southern part of Ohio, but we're getting closer to mid-Ohio now, and the skies I'm seeing blue with light puffy clouds, or striatus clouds, really, the longer ones. I think they're the striatus. But there's a little section of clouds going in front of it that are darker, and they kind of spelled out the word no. I don't know what that means. God, speak, like nothing like God, speak to me clearly. should I or shouldn't I? And then you see a big no in the clouds. Maybe it was a message for somebody else. It's completely dissipated now. Now it's just a dark cloud that is splattered all about. When I first looked at it, it said no. I just don't know if it was talking to me, and I don't know if I asked a question that was a yes-no question. The sign from above says no. Well, I'll have to think on that. Do some self-analyzing as to if I needed that answer to something. They do say God answers your prayers. He just doesn't always say yes. Sometimes the answer is no. There it was, right up in the sky. It's kind of cool looking. But it's gone. All right. Anything else to share? I think I'm just going to end this. I'd like to just sit here and chit-chat because that's good for me. That's not good for you. Anything else to share? Nothing else happened at the gas station. Oh, gas was $4.49. Back up in Ohio. It better be $4.59 when I get into Columbus because that's why I stopped there. Because I think I have enough gas. I had enough gas. I know I had enough gas to make it to the cheap gas station. But it's fine. I had to pee. What can you do? I've been drinking my flavored water with, I did throw a can of soda in here too, but it's 3/4 a can of water with a flavor pack. And every now and then I've been dabbling into my iced tea because it's good. So we're just going to eat peanuts and some raw cookie dough. That sounds amazing for your stomach lining, doesn't it? And maybe some Lay's potato chips, which are there as well. It's the things that happen to be on the seat. I'm not going to eat that sandwich. I'm going to wait. I'm going to heat it up and make it amazing from Double Dogs. I moved it down onto the floor so that the squeaky styrofoam wouldn't be annoying to you or while I was on the phone. I should ask her if she wants me to ever use her name on the vlog. If so, I'll tell you. My nickname for her anyway. Which is a variation of her actual name, so it's not like really hiding anything, which is why I don't want to say anything. Alright, that's it. We are just going to drive, and I'm going to go back and listen to podcasts again. I didn't listen to much at all before I got to Buckee's, I think. Yeah. That must have been it. Oh, I think I started listening to it, and then all of a sudden I thought I better call my friend because I have a big stretch of road here, and there's not going to be a lot of directions. That's what I think happened. It doesn't matter. It's okay. I've turned into my mother. Did I tell you that I saw Miss Martha on Sunday? No, you didn't. How's she doing? Well, she said, well, I think it was Sunday. It may have been Monday. I also went out on Saturday. Well, let me think. Saturday, your dad was with me, so I don't think it was either Sunday or it was Monday, and at which point I usually go, okay, Mom, it doesn't matter. And I've told her this about her stories. I say, you perseverate on a detail of was it a left turn or a right turn for such a long time. It really has no bearing on the story whatsoever that you're telling. Or you perseverate on the date or what the weather was like. Was that the day that it rained? And yet, I've become my mother. This vlog is a lot of that. Hopefully I don't do it at the level she does, because that'll be 5 minutes of trying to figure out if it was Sunday or Monday. Hopefully I feel like I am starting to become my mom, but after about 20 seconds to 30 seconds into it, I realize I've become my mother, and I pull back and say, it doesn't matter, let's move on. Not pertinent to the story. That's where we are right now. So I am slipping into it. And it's not a dementia thing. She's as sharp as all get out. just turned 88. It has nothing to do with dementia. It's just the way she tells stories and her incessant need to give every little detail in the story. See, I like to give all the details too. Oh God, please make me not become my mother. Although, if I have to choose that or my grandmother who had Alzheimer's, give me my mom. I'll just be the lady who just keeps talking and talking and talking and talking and trying to recall all the little details of the scene that I'm talking about, even if nobody around me cares. Let me be that person. I feel like I can be self-aware enough that I can say to people around me, I know I do this, so when I start doing it, I need you to give me a clue, like we have a hand signal or something, to just say, yeah, it's maybe not quite so obvious. Just to say, you know, moving along. Continue the story. Skip this part, continue on. You can always come back. All right, there's a beautiful lake. Look at all the people out by the lake. Fishers, so many fishermen. Little store there too. I wonder if they sell like bait and tackle. Don't I sound like I know what I know about fishing? I assume. I just see bait and tackle stores with poles on them. Well, bait and then tackle. The bait is what you put at the end of the line to lure the fish in. I don't know what the tackle is. Is the tackle the name for the actual hook? Is that called tackle? I honestly don't know. Write it down below. I know a lot of you probably fish or have a spouse or a child or a sibling who is into fishing, so you're familiar with it. A parent, maybe? Okay, that is all for today. This is Jenny signing out. Oh, words of wisdom. Oh, first of all, we didn't do our sleep score. 66. Yes, I said 66. You don't have to repeat it. 66. It does say okay, not low. I know I didn't sleep well last night. I knew I wanted to get up. I wanted to talk to everybody before they left. I wanted to be on the road by 8. Although I didn't think I would get on the road by 8. It's just all that was going through my mind. Did you remember to do this? Don't forget to take a picture of this because you want to submit a ticket when you're back at home before you come back and all that stuff going through my mind. If my vision wasn't so bad, I would just like roll over, get my laptop and type a few things in or my phone, but I can't see the keyboard on anything. So it's not worth it. Okay, final story. The city names. Did I mention this to you? When you drive, I think I did, because I think I was going to take a picture of one once. When you drive through Ohio, with every city that you go through that has a bridge, and there's lots of bridges, the bridge has the name of the city on it. Sometimes it's black letters, sometimes it's cursive, sometimes there's like almost like a whole sign that goes with it, but pretty much they're all cut out letters with the name. And then sometimes it'll have a flower, like maybe the city's flower or something. Do cities have flowers? Like states have flowers? I think I remember a red flower, but Ohio's not national. The Ohio flower is carnation, a red carnation. And our bird is the red cardinal, so apparently we like red in Ohio. See, our tree is the Buckeye tree, thus Ohio State University's mascot is the Buckeye. How can you have the seed of a tree be your mascot? Well, you make it the face. And then you just put a body on the person. So, yes. Kind of crazy, kind of weird. At least it's not, well, I mean, I guess it's kind of lame now that I think about it. I never think of it as being lame. Some other ones seem lamer to me, mascots, but maybe that's just because I'm used to it, because it's always been the Buckeyes. So it seems tough to me, even though he's not like a tough guy inside the head. Or she. Alright, that's it. you about the names. I think I already told you anyway. I have how much more time before I get home? Let's see. Oops. Put your lane thing on, Jenny, if you're going to look at your screen. Oh, was that? I pulled myself out of the lane. I don't want to do that. No. Go back. How do I go back? Oh. Anyway, I have about I had 2.5 hours when I was getting off the freeway left. So, however long this is, subtract that. Oh, it says 29 minutes. I've been talking that long. I have about two more hours to go. And then I'm home. Look at that. Whoop, whoop. It really helps to talk to you and talk to my friend. I feel like, gosh, I haven't even got my podcast in. I gotta get to it. Get in just my chit chat. Learn about a stock or two and what the market's doing. Love to you all. Have a wonderful day, you wonderful women. And I'll see you in another couple of days. Bye, friends.